Yasu! Konnichiwa! Ciao, mi chiamo Ella. Hello everybody, my name is Ella. These greetings represent some of the languages that have influenced my life and cultural experiences. Today I will be sharing my language and cultural profile and reflecting on how my experiences with language and culture has shaped my identity, sense of belonging and my future teaching practices. Here is a bit about my language and cultural background. So English is my main language and I use it in my everyday life. In many ways, I grew up in what you could describe as a multilingual environment, where English was the main dominant language used at my house and at my school. However, my family background is culturally diverse, which has exposed me to different cultures and languages. On my mum's side, my family background includes an Irish, Australian and Greek heritage. My grandfather, or what I call him is my papu, which is grandfather in Greek, was born in Greece and has kept many Greek traditions alive in my family. He often shares Greek words, cultural stories and traditional recipes which help keep the cultural connection strong. On my dad's side, my family comes from Wales. They were all born there and then moved to South Africa for about 15 years when my dad was a teenager growing up. Because of this, I grew up hearing about lots of different cultures, traditions and food from both sides of my family. I also attended a Catholic private primary school where I was a part of the church community and participated in sacraments such as my first communion. At the same time, my mum was a yoga teacher and with that she's been really interested in lots of Buddhism practices. I've come along with her to lots of yoga retreats and Buddhism meditation classes, which has also exposed me to different cultural and spiritual perspectives growing up. Here's a bit about my language learning experiences. Although English is my dominant language, I have experienced elements of multilingualism throughout education and my family life. At school, I learned Italian from reception to year 7, and then I studied Japanese from year 8 to year 10 in high school. This allowed me to develop basic conversational skills and learn about the Italian and Japanese culture. I've also been exposed to parts of Greek by my papu, who still speaks Greek in his day-to-day life. One of the ways that I experienced language growing up was through family traditions. For example, when cooking traditional Greek meals with my grandfather, he often teaches us Greek words and phrases while cooking. Even though these are simple words, it helped me maintain a connection to our cultural heritage. These experiences helped me realize that learning a language does not always happen in a classroom, but it also happens in everyday cultural experience such as food, family, and traditions. Language, identity, and belonging. Growing up surrounded by different cultures has shaped my sense of identity and belonging. Even though English is my dominant language, I still feel connected to other cultures through family traditions, food, and small elements of language. Learning even just a few Greek words from my papu has helped me feel connected to my family history and cultural identity. Research supports the idea that language is strongly connected to identity and belonging. For example, in the reading English to Only English by Dobson, Steele and Winkler, 2025, states that heritage languages are not only central to ethno-specific matters, but they underscore arguments about the plurilingualism and the development of multifaceted civic identity. I can see this reflected in my own experiences because of the language and cultural traditions that my family has had. Why I think supporting home languages is important. Because of my experiences, I believe it is very important for teachers to support students' home languages and cultural backgrounds. In some schools, there is what researchers describe as monolingual mindset, where English is prioritized and other languages are sometimes overlooked. However, many students come to school with rich linguistic knowledge from their homes and communities that they don't necessarily get to share. When these languages are actually recognized and valued, it can strengthen students' confidence, identity, and engagement throughout learning. Hoof 2022 highlights the importance of language in learning, stating that language is not everything in education, but without language in education, everything is nothing. This shows that language learning is not separate from identity. It's closely connected to culture, community, and belonging. How this will shape my future teaching. My experiences has strongly influenced how I want to approach teaching in the future. As a future teacher, I want to create classrooms where linguistic, cultural, and diversity are seen as strengths rather than challenges. I want students to feel proud of their home languages and cultural backgrounds and to feel that these are valued within my classroom. Research supports this approach as Scrindraw 2022 explains in Pondering in the Future, Linguistic Diversity and Language Learning in Australian Schools. He says, languages, both those taught at school and those used in society, are often marginalised, silenced from each other. I would like to share some ways that I'm going to support children in the future in my classroom. 1, I will be encouraging my students to share words and phrases from their home languages. 2, I will be including stories and learning materials from diverse cultures. 3, I will be recognizing and celebrating different cultural traditions. 4, I will be building strong partnerships with families and communities. And 5, I will be creating learning environments where all students feel respected and included. As a teacher, I want to ensure that students' languages and cultures are recognized as a valuable knowledge, rather than something that should be left outside the classroom. In conclusion, my language and cultural experiences has shaped my understanding of identity, belonging, and diversity. They've shown me that language is more than just communication. It is deeply connected to family, culture, and my personal identity. Because of this, I want to create a classroom where all students feel seen, respected, and included. Supporting home languages is not just about language learning. It is about valuing who the students are and where they come from. Thank you for listening.